Hello, Mom and Dad. Welcome back. In this second video to you, I'd like to share with you what I've learned in my 36 years of teaching pre-K, things that students really should have a good understanding of before they go to kindergarten next year. Some of these skills your child will master super easily. Some of them take more time, and that's okay. As long as they're exposed to these skills, that's going to help them next year. I've got a little sheet with some reading skills, math skills, writing skills, and self help skills that'll hopefully help you get your little one ready for kindergarten over the summer months. I'll attach this little list to the video later. First, the number one thing, Mom and Dad, that you can do to help your child be ready for kindergarten next year is to read. Read together. Read to them, have them read to you, have them see you reading. Make reading be one of the most important parts of their day. Read to them one book every day for a week. When you're done with the book, talk about the book. Talk about who were the characters, what was the setting, where did the story happen at, inside, outside, in outer space, or underwater. Talk about the characters. Did they have a problem? What was the solution to the problem? Use those vocabulary words, Mom. Character, setting, problem, solution for fiction books. That's going to help your child get ready for kindergarten. When you look at a book, talk about the author's job, the illustrator's job. Point out the author and illustrator's name. Talk about what they do. Do they write the words or the text? Or do they create the pictures or illustrations? For nonfiction books, talk about the difference between fiction and nonfiction. Ask them, Mom and Dad, are the things in this book the way they would really be out in the real world? That's going to lead you to the difference between illustration and photographs. They need those vocabulary words, Mom. Illustration, author, text, photograph. The more they hear those vocabulary words, the better. Talk about the difference between fiction and nonfiction. Fiction books are pretend or make believe. Nonfiction books are books about the real world. They have details and facts. They have labels, and they often have photographs. All that reading vocabulary, Mom and Dad, is going to help your pre-K child next year, I promise you. Make reading important outside the home as well, not just reading books every day, looking for print in the environment. Have your child read those words that they see and know very well, like McDonald's, Walmart, Chuck E. Cheese. Point to the word and say, hey, what do you think that word says? And they're going to say, McDonald's. Are they really reading the text? Well, no. But they will begin to see that they can read, Mom and Dad. They can. They can read the word Barbie. They can read the word Legos. They can read the word Sonic. That's going to make them feel good about themselves as a reader, and that's going to help them next year. When it comes to the letters of the actual curriculum of kindergarten, Mom and Dad, your child needs to be able to name each letter in their name, especially first name, and they need to be able to name it quickly, very quickly. It would help if they could name all 52 letters, uppercase and lowercase. Mix them up, Mom and Dad. I would suggest black and white print, things like this. You can make your own cards. You can print this stuff off the internet. The brain remembers black and white print very easily, and it's going to help your child remember the names of the letters. Start off with the picture with the letter, and then eventually graduate to just showing them the letter itself with no picture clues. Okay, your child needs to be able to name those letters quickly. They need to be able to know the sounds. When I teach my students, we use little hand clues, such as what is the name of the letter, and then what sound does it make, pointing to their ear. They need to be able to do that quickly, mom and dad. Mix them up. Mix up uppercase and lowercase so that they really, really are internalizing those names. Sight words. Sight words, mom and dad, are words the kids have to know just boom, really quickly. They don't sound them out. In my class, we call them boom words because you have to boom, just say them. Like I, can, like, see, at. I'll put a little short list on that paper that I attached to this video, but you can look it up online, mom and dad. Just type in kindergarten sight words. You might even be able to find a list for your child's particular school district. In that sight word list, make sure you attach color words. Being able to identify quickly red, blue, yellow, green, that's going to help your child both with reading and later with writing. Rhyming words. Mom and dad, your child needs to be able to hear whether two words rhyme, and they also have to be able to give you a rhyming word. Do these two words rhyme? Cat, hat. And then they answer yes or no. When they're really good at that, then change the questions up. Can you tell me a word that rhymes with cat? And let them provide that answer. Rhyming is very, very, very important. Very important kindergarten reading skill, mom and dad. Now in pre-K, we learn about counting syllables. Syllables means how many beats or counts in a word. Banana. How many syllables? 3. You can call them beats, you can call them counts or claps, but if they hear that vocabulary, syllable, it's going to help them next year, mom and dad. They need to be able to hear letter sounds, and eventually, when they know most of their letter sounds, you can start blending to make words. Okay, Liam, I'm going to say 3 sounds. Listen to me say the 3 sounds, and you try to figure out what word I'm trying to say. Ready? Go. K, at, k, at, cat. Getting them to they have to be able to practice hearing the sounds, identifying the sounds, and then blending the sounds to make a word. 3-letter words, mom and dad. They need to be able to know the vowel sounds, A, E, I, O, U. It would help to know that each of those letters makes at least 2 sounds. Eventually, mom and dad, they'll be reading sentences. If your child cannot read simple sentences all right now, don't panic. It's something you can easily practice this summer. Start off with just a phrase like a dog. Find a picture book or create your own and write a dog on the next page, a cat on the next page, a sun. Help them. Show them how to touch under each word when they read. Once they can do that really quickly, then bump it up. Bump it up to a 3 or 4 word sentence. I put little dots under the words. That's very common in pre-K and kindergarten to help them see where to put their finger as they move left to right. When they've learned all those color words, mom and dad, pop those into the sentence. Make their sentence longer. I see a red cat. Make sure they're not sliding, but that they're touching up and down, so that they understand each touch is a word. Okay, those are some reading skills, mom and dad, that you can help your child reinforce, be introduced to, whatever level they're at over the summer coming up. Let's talk about math. Being able to identify numbers. Numbers, same thing as the letters, Mom and Dad. Use black and white cards or black and white flashcards. 1 through 20 or 0 through 20 at a minimal. If they can look at numbers 0 through 30 and identify them, even better. Also, they need to be able to count out loud, Mom, to at least 30. That's called rote counting. What I do to help my students with rote counting is we use that finger again. Sometimes it's a reading finger, sometimes it's a counting finger. Ready? We're going to count to 30. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Practice saying it with them first. Practice that arm moving. The more they move their body while they're talking, Mom and Dad, the brain's going to remember more easily. And then, when they've gotten good at it, start them off. 1, 2, 3. And then just stop talking, but moving your finger to guide them into counting to 30 all by themselves. If they could do that, go on up to 50. Go on up to 100. In kindergarten, they will count to 100. When you're playing, get little bitty toys, Mom and Dad, and practice counting little objects. Picking up a small object and moving it to make a set, or sliding it on a table to make a set. Talk about when they touch each little thing, little Lego, any little small object, that they have to say the number at the same time as they touch. 1, 2, 3. That's called one-to-one correspondence. It's important in math and in reading, Mom and Dad. Get a little pile of toys, a little pile of blocks, say up to 5. Start with 5 and make 2 little sets of objects. Maybe 3 in one set, maybe 2 in the other set. Have your child practice pulling and counting, making 2 little sets, and then after that, talk about the sets. Let's pretend these are my 2 little sets of little toys. Okay, let's look at our 2 sets. We have one set here with how many in this set? Now they're either going to subitize, which is boom, just see it and say it, 3. Or they might need to count. 1, 2, 3, that's fine. How many items in this set? They say 4. Ask them, are these sets equal? That means, are they the same? When they say no, then ask them, well, what can we do to make these 2 sets equal? Lead them into saying either add 1 more to this set or subtract 1 from this set. Use your arm, Mom and Dad. Use your arm dramatically to subtract and to add. That takes time, but if you practice playing around with making sets and adding and subtracting, it's going to help them in kindergarten. All right, next math skills, sorting. Grab those blocks, grab that little pile of Barbie shoes, whatever it is. Ask your child, how can we make little groups that match? How can we sort these things? Lead them into practicing sorting by color, size, small, medium, and large, or shape. That's going to help them both in math and reading, Mom and Dad. Of course, knowing colors and shapes, that needs to be done before kindergarten, Mom and Dad. Let's talk about writing. The most important word that your child will ever learn to write in pre-K and kindergarten is their first name. Before they start writing that first name, you've got to help them, Mom and Dad. You've got to help them get strong fine motor skills. That means the muscles in their hands need to get stronger. How do you do that? Play-Doh. Lots and lots of Play-Doh. The more your child's hand is moving, squeezing, and stretching, all those muscles are going to get stronger. When a child learns to write, they usually start from the elbow bending. As their hand gets stronger, you'll see them start to move a little bit more toward the wrist. Now, some friends, mom and dad, they may be writing like this from the shoulder, just horizontal scribble lines. That's okay. Get them to go to the elbow bend, eventually the wrist bend. But I promise you, Play Doh, number one thing to help your child physically be a good writer. Picking up small items with a pincer grasp like this, using tongs, lacing cards, anything where their fingers are moving individually, that's going to help them. They need to practice writing first name, last name if you like, and letters and numbers. They don't have to be able to write them perfectly, mom and dad, but just the thought that writing is made up of either straight lines or sticks, we call them, or curves, sticks or curves. Being able to see that and have strong hands at the same time, that makes a good physical writer, mom and dad. Practice writing letters, practice writing numbers, practice creating sentences. Once they can write their name really well, once they know a few sight words, have them practice copying a sentence, a simple sentence, like I see a cat. Then have them create their own sentences. Those are pre-K to kinder writing skills. But I promise, mom and dad, get that Play-Doh out, lots of Play-Doh. Let them tear paper. Do you see how your hand moves, how complex that is to tear paper? Get a hole puncher. Let them practice punching holes in paper. Go to Dollar Tree. Get the big plastic bin. Throw your junk mail in there. Let them tear it up. That's ways you can help your child over the summer to be a good kindergarten writer. Now let's talk about self-help skills. In pre-K, we help our friends a lot. Usually there's a paraprofessional with us, and we help children on the day-to-day things that require doing things for themselves. But from January to May of pre-K in my class, we start pulling away from that. We start teaching more self-help skills. In kindergarten, more than likely, your child's just going to have one teacher. They might have an aide, they might not. You can help them this summer by helping them do these things. If they're going to eat lunch in the cafeteria, carrying that tray is a skill. Go to a cafeteria, mom and dad, over the summer. Go to Luby's. Now, granted, those are big trays, but help your child sliding that tray down the cafeteria line. Show them how to hold it in the middle on each side and carry that tray. That's a skill that most pre-K and kinder kids don't have. It's hard. But if you practice over the summer, they're less likely to drop that tray when they go to kindergarten. They need to be able to open and close their backpacks. Backpacks are hard, mom and dad. Zipping all the way around, zipping back. Buy their backpack early for kindergarten and practice opening it, putting stuff in, and closing it. Now, at our school, our children either bring plastic see-through backpacks or mesh backpacks. I really recommend you go for more the plastic or vinyl. Avoid that mesh. It crumples in and it's hard for kids to unzip and get things inside. It is hard, mom and dad. I'm just sharing that with you. You need to be able to help your little one with potty independence, mom and dad. What does that mean, potty independence? They need to be able to wipe their own hiney, pull up their own pants, snap, button, or zip. They need to be able to do those things on their own before kindergarten. Take them to the library. When your child goes to kindergarten, more than likely they'll visit their school library. And the Librarian will show them the library, show them how to pick a book, how to bring it up to the desk to check it out. But does your child know really how to look for a book? If you don't practice going to a library, they're going to become flustered. They're only going to have 5 minutes or so to pick a book, and they'll be pulling out books. They'll just look at the cover, they'll stick it back in. Books might start falling. Go to the library this summer and practice checking out books. That's something else you can do to help your child get ready for kinder. Let's talk about shoes, tying shoes. Some friends are ready to tie their shoes before kindergarten, and some it just takes more time. That means their hands aren't strong enough and coordinated enough to tie. Again, Play-Doh, Play-Doh, Play-Doh. But if your child's not ready, if they're struggling to tie, mom and dad, just buy the Velcro shoes. It's okay to start off kindergarten with Velcro shoes. Some teachers help their students tie, some just don't. I'm going to be honest, some I've seen just don't. So help your little one. Learn to practice tying shoes over the summer if they're ready. Putting on their own coat, zipping it up, getting those arms through, that's a super hard skill for a pre-K going to kindergarten friend. Practice that, mom and dad. I know it'll be July and August when they go to kindergarten. Practice it now. Then when fall and winter come, your child's going to be cool with, okay, let's get our jackets on. It's time to go home. Let's line up. And they panic because they can't get it on. All right? Practice that this summer. The last thing I have for you, mom and dad, is as a parent and a teacher, I would recommend these things to learn over the summer. Your child needs to be able to say their entire name, first name and last name. I would recommend that they know by memory your phone number and your address. Also, your name, mom and dad. They should know your full name. It's important for safety. The world we live in now, it's just not like it used to be. Things happen, mom and dad. Even well-meaning schools, well-meaning teachers, students wander. Things happen. And unfortunately, as you know in the news today, sometimes big, giant, horrible things happen everywhere. In the case of an emergency, your child should know their name, phone number, and address quickly and automatically. Okay, mom and dad, I just threw a whole bunch at you, but these are the general skills that you can help your child reinforce during June and July before next year when they go to kindergarten. I'll make more videos about these topics in more depth, but this is sort of a little rainbow of skills that you can start with. If your child doesn't learn all of these things before August, is it a bad thing? Heavens no. Very few children master every single skill before they get to kindergarten. But just expose them to them. Expose them to the vocabulary. Expose them to the idea that reading is the most awesome thing in the world. Get those hands strong. There's a lot you can do to help your little one get ready for kindergarten. I hope this helped a little bit, mom and dad. I'll attach that list to this video, and we'll see you on our next Dear Mom and Dad video. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.